to Football Barbie, where we talk about anything and everything football here. So today we are going to figure out, is Lamar Jackson going to take over the AFC North? What do you think? So let's get it started and talk to you about the AFC North and who do you think the next crown winner of that team will going to be. Let's go.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?
So first up, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, funny enough, this is the other PA division. It is cheers, some watermelon margarita here. We had plenty of watermelon left over from the 4th of July, so we are just going to have fun with it. So let's talk, like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the other Pennsylvania team. Now, DraftKings has them at a 8.5 over-under win. So first up, you have them playing the 49ers the first week at home. I think that there is a chance that the Steelers, don't quote me on this, have a chance to win against the 49ers. With Kenny Pickett, I think they're definitely a great team. I don't think they're going to be the best team, but I definitely think that the Steelers do have a good shot of getting some wins this year. I still think they kind of stand in the middle of the pack. We'll see. I don't think they might not necessarily be the top divisional winner, but I think that they're going to do it, and I think they do have a chance to beat the 49ers. The next game is the Steelers are playing the Browns. So obviously, now that Deshaun Watson is on the Browns. We'll have to see how the second week goes for him for his first full season to the Browns. And I think that the Steelers have a chance to win against the Browns here. Next, they go to the Raiders for the third week of the football season, and I think they also have a chance to win. I don't think the Raiders are honestly going to be the greatest this year. Nobody's really sure what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think that the Steelers can pull off a win here at the Raiders. Next up, you have them going to the Texans. I just want to say, but minus maybe the 49ers, I feel like they have a pretty easy schedule. The Steelers definitely have some chances to get some wins because their schedule's a little easy. So, they have that. So, like I said, they're going to the Texans. I think they have a chance to win this game, too. I definitely don't think the Texans are going to do well this year at all. I'm a little curious to see how everything's going to play out with them and everything like that. Next, you have the Steelers playing the Ravens at home. Now, for a lot of divisional games, I did kind of go like 1-1. I feel like unless somebody is an extremely dominant team, they normally can take on the home field advantage when there, and then they normally lose their away game. So I think with the Steelers playing the Ravens at home, that they have a chance to win against Lamar. Then they have a bye. And then the Steelers go to the LA Rams. I also think they have a chance to win. I think that they really do have a good chance to go against the Rams with, Matthew Stafford and do very well there. Then you have the Steelers playing the Jaguars. That's with Mr. Trevor Lawrence. I think that they can be able to pull off a win. Apparently, I'm giving the Steelers a little bit more credit than I think. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think they have a little bit of an easier schedule, maybe compared to others. So the teams that they are playing, maybe minus a few, aren't really, I feel like, going to be the greatest this year, and that's why I think that they have a really good chance. But they are in a division that is pretty hard. So the next one, you have them going to the Titans. I think that they're finally going to lose this one. I just have this feeling that with everything that the Titans have right now and with the Steelers, they're going to start kind of going downhill a little bit now. So next you have them playing the Packers, like I said, at home. That is definitely, I think, going to be a win as well. I think that, like I said, Jordan Love is going to be kind of iffy this year. If you're a Packers fan, I would love to know how you feel about Jordan Love being your quarterback. So please tell me that. Next, you have the Steelers going to the Browns. I think they're going to lose this. I think they're going to lose the home divisional game for the Browns. So I definitely think that there's a chance that, they're not going to be able to pull off a win against the Browns at home. Like I said, a lot of the divisional games, I think it's going to be either or. Then you have the Steelers going to the Bengals. I think they're going to lose. Mr. Joe Burrow, we all know Mr. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They have a lot of room to do well. So I think that they're going to have a good chance to lose this game against the Bengals, where the Bengals are playing them at their home. Then they're going to Cardinals. Cardinals, man, we already kind of talked about this. I don't think the Cardinals are going to have that many wins this year. Unfortunately, if you're an Arizona fan, like I said, please let me know. Do you think that the Arizona has a chance to come off with a lot of wins this year? I don't. So I think they're able to beat the Cardinals at home. Then you have the Steelers playing the Patriots at home. I think they're going to lose. I think Mac Jones is going to be able to get one over on Mr. Kenny Pickett, and I think that they definitely have a good chance to lose that game. Then you have the Steelers going to the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be okay this year too. I don't think they're going to be any form of great, but I think that the Colts are going to be able to beat the Steelers at home. Then you have the Steelers playing the Bengals. I just think the Bengals are going to be able to, the Steelers butt this year, and the Bengals will win that home game against the Steelers. Like I said, I think there's only so many teams that can truly pull off both divisional wins for the season. Then the Steelers are going to the Seahawks. I think they're going to lose this game. I think that Mr. Geno Smith is going to be able to probably put up the numbers that he did last season. I'm really curious. He's been a backup quarterback for a long time, and he finally showed his strengths last year in Seattle when he was given a full chance, and I think he's done very well. And then the last game of the season is them at the Ravens. I think they're going to lose that one as well. So I think Lamar Jackson at home, even if it's in the last week, hopefully he does well and doesn't get injured. I think Lamar Jackson definitely has a chance to win against the Steelers. So the Steelers will lose that last game, giving them 10 wins. So I give them the over on this. The Steelers, though, should be contention for the playoff spot. Mike Tomlin has yet to finish a season under 500. Kenny Pickett and the offense need to put up more points, as they averaged 18.1 points per game last season, which was 26th. They did pick up Georgia tackle Broderick Jones and tight end Darnell Washington. Both should help to protect Pickett, which is definitely something that they need. And they did finish. Other people are projecting like 9 wins, but I think they might be able to squeak off 10. I definitely think they'll at least be able to get 9. I think they might be able to get that 10th win, though. It might be kind of hard in some of those games. Next up, you have the Cleveland Browns. I don't know about the Cleveland Browns this year, guys. Like I said, we all know Deshaun Watson is not playing for them, but at the end of the day, 9.5 wins is what DraftKings gave them, and I'm gonna go for the under here. But let's start with their first game of the season. The first game of the season, they're playing the Bengals. Bengals got this one in the bag. Win that game. Like I said, we all know Burrow is a beast. I think he's got this in the bag. Be really surprised if the the Browns manage to pull off a win against the Bengals in the first week. I can't apparently talk today. Next, you have the Browns going to the Steelers. I think they're going to lose that game as well. I think the Steelers are going to be able to beat them at the home. So I think the Browns are going to have that loss. Then the Browns are playing the Titans. Except I don't think the Titans are going to be great this year. I think they're going to squeak over some wins that you might not necessarily expect. But I think that the Browns are going to win against the Titans at home for that game. The next week, they are hosting the Ravens. I think they said, here's a divisional game. I think they do have a chance to win. This one, I think, might be close. I think Lamar is definitely going to pull out all of the running stops and everything like that. So far, I think that he's going to be able to do well. Next, you have them having a bye, and then they are hosting the 49ers. I think the 49ers are for sure going to win this game. So I think the Browns will lose against the 49ers at home. Like, so we don't even know who the 49ers quarterback is going to be, but regardless, the 49ers do have so many good players on their team, along with their coaching staff and everything, that I think they're going to be able to pull off a win. Then you have the Browns going to the Colts. I think they have a chance to win this one. I really do. I think that, Deshaun Watson is not a horrible quarterback. He definitely didn't put up the best numbers last year. But I do think that they have a chance to win at the Colts. Then they have you going to the Seahawks the next week for the Browns. Go to the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks are going to win. So I think the Browns will lose this game. It's not a lot. It's really hard to put against Pete Carroll. He's just one of the phenomenal coaches out there, along with Bill Belichick. Mike Tomlinson is really good for the Steelers. There's just coaches who've been around for a really long time who know how to coach their staff very well. Andy Reid, Then you have the Browns playing the Cardinals at home. Yeah, like I said, the Cardinals probably aren't going to be that good this year. So sorry if you're a Cardinals fan. Like I said, please, if you're other team's fan and I talk about your team, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. But I don't think the Cardinals are going to do very well this year. So I think the Browns, actually, though, do have a chance to lose this game. I think that the Cardinals are going to be able to pull over a win. So I'm going to give the Browns a loss, though, here. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be good, but I don't think the Browns are going to be good either. So I'm going to give it to the Cardinals here and give the Browns a loss. Then the Browns are going to the Ravens. So here's another divisional team. I think they're going to lose. I think the Ravens will win most of the divisional games at home. So I think that the Browns will lose against the Ravens. Then you have the Browns playing the Steelers at home. I think they're going to get the win here with this divisional game. Like I said, I think a lot of it's going to go either way. Then the Browns are going to the Broncos. I think that, and I'm hoping that by this point, the Russell Wilson and Sean Payton have gotten things together in Denver, and that the Browns will lose at home at the Broncos. So we'll see. Then the Rams. I don't think the Rams are good either, but neither do I think the Browns are going to be good. But I think that the Browns will lose at the Rams Stadium. So I think the Rams do have a chance to get something going here. Then you have the Browns hosting the Jaguars. I think they have a chance to win. I think Trevor Lawrence may be able to take his team to the playoffs this year and get a wild card spot, kind of like how they did last year. But I think it is going to be very difficult. So I do think that the Browns will win here against the Jaguars. Next, you have the Browns hosting the Bears at home. And I think they're going to be able to win that one too. I think Justin Fields is going to do better this year. I don't think that they're going to have like the 3 wins that they did last year. That was horrible. Thank goodness for all you true Bear fans who have stuck with your team through the losses. Like I said, as an Eagles fan, we had a couple of seasons ago where we were the worst division in the league and it was embarrassing. And thank God we came back and at least we managed to advance to the Super Bowl. Even though we lost. Then you have the Browns going to the Texans. I think they can have a chance to win this. I really do. I think that the Browns are going to be able to possibly beat the Texans here. And this is the rematch, which if you have just paid attention to, here is the rematch video. If you watch, this is one of the games I had talked about was, Deshaun Watson is going to the Texans. And I think that he has a chance to win this game. Then the Browns are hosting the Jets. I really said, like I said, I talked about it. I put a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers. I'd be really curious to see. I don't know if he's going to be able to hit numbers like he did when he was an MVP, but you never know. And then the Browns, for the last week of the game, are going to the Bengals, and I think they will lose, even if the Bengals pull some of their players, for doing so well in the division. I think that they were going to still lose to the Bengals in the last week of the game. So the Browns had a disappointing season in 2022 at 7 wins to 10 losses. But they did win 4 of their last 7 games. They're looking to Deshaun Watson as a quarterback who struggled in the 6 games he played at a 58.2 completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. They did add Elijah Moore to go with Amari Cooper as playmakers and one of the league's best running backs, Nick Chubb. So if you do know the Browns, you do know who Nick Chubb is. He is definitely somebody, when you do watch the game, you do see him get the ball a lot, and he does do very well. So I'm putting them at 7 wins for the season. Now, I do think they do have a chance to get 8, maybe 9 in those close call games. But I don't really give them more than 9 for the season. I think that next year they have a chance to do better, but not this year. So next up, let's talk about the Bengals. Now, the Bengals for sure are going to give the AFC North a run for their money, along with the AFC and themselves. And I think, as you just listen, it will come down to one very, very important game, which is in my matchup game, as well in my previous video, which I will link down below. So, DraftKings gives the Bengals 11.5 wins for the over and under, and let's start with them going at week 1. They are going to the Browns, and I think they will win against the Browns. Except, sorry, I don't think the Browns are standing a chance. Mr. Deshaun, I think Joe Burrow is going to beat you. Next, you have the Bengals hosting the Ravens. I think they're going to win this home game against the divisional. I think the divisional games are going to be difficult, and a lot of them are going to go 1-1, but I do think they're going to win this game that they're hosting against the Ravens. Win. Next, they are hosting the Rams. I think they're going to be able to win this one for sure as well. Okay, and then they are going to the Titans. Right now, their schedule seems pretty easy. This AFC North division seems like for the most part, they're playing kind of more mediocre teams. You know, the Bengals do have a couple hard games, but I do think that the AFC North, it has a little bit of an easier schedule this year. So I think that a lot of people in the AFC North are going to have a chance to get more wins. So, again, I think that they're going to the Titans, and I think they're going to win. Next, they're going to the Cardinals. We know the Cardinals are probably not going to be that good. The Cardinals messed up their draft. They just dropped the ball in the draft. I'm not really sure what happened, but they definitely did. So, yeah, they're going to win against the Cardinals. Then you have the Bengals playing the Seahawks at home. I think they're going to win at 1-2 against Geno Smith. I think this game is going to be close for sure. This one, and then they have a bye, and then they go to the 49ers, and I think they're going to win against the 49ers, but I think that one is going to be extremely close as well. So I say that the 49ers are going to win against at the home for the 49ers, but I think this game has a chance to go in the 49ers' favor. Same with the Bills. So the following week, they are hosting the Bills. I think Josh Allen, we know that Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are quite rivals. I think this is another game that I talked about. I think that they're going to pull off a win over Buffalo, but excuse me. At the same time, I think this could go either way. Then the Bengals are hosting the Texans, divisional win. Yes, sorry, win that one. Then the Bengals are going to the Ravens. I think this one they have a chance to win as well, but I do think this one is going to be very difficult as well. Win. I think Lamar is going to be able to do his best and try to win this game, so I think there's a possibility. Then you have the Bengals hosting the Steelers. Win. They're going to win this home game against their divisional team. I said Steelers are going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be great. And then you have the Bengals going to the Jaguars for the next week. I think they're going to win that one as well. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to stop the Bengals. Like I said, they have a lot of really good players. Then the Bengals are hosting the Colts the following week. I think they're going to win this one as well. I don't think the Colts are going to stand a chance to beat everybody on the Bengals. Then you have the Bengals hosting the Vikings. I think this is a team that really actually could get Bengals with one. The Bengals could lose to the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are one of those teams too that squeaks out wins that you're not really sure how in the world they were able to get that win. But I think that it's going to happen, and I think that the Vikings are going to be one of the few teams that are going to actually beat the Bengals. So I think the Bengals will take the loss here. Then the Bengals are going to go to the Steelers. I think at this point, the Steelers are good enough to be able to win the home game for them against the Bengals. And I think that the Bengals will lose to the Steelers at the Steelers' home. And then the next game, which is the most important game, I think, for them by far, is the AFC North versus the AFC West, having Mr. Joe Burrow go to Kansas City Chiefs. I think that they are going to lose this game. This could be the most important game because they could be tied with the Chiefs for wins. But since if they lose, they will take the second place seed for the AFC. If that is the case. Now, obviously, that'd be really interesting to happen, but this has happened before. So the Chiefs come back to win. The Chiefs are coming back to win after losing 3-1 against Burrow. So Burrow has the odds here, but I think that the Chiefs might have a good chance to win this game. Coming off a Super Bowl high, I think they got it. And then the Bengals are hosting the Browns for the final week of the season, and I think that they are going to win that game. So to me, I'm giving them 14 wins at best. I think they're going to have at least 11 because a couple of those hard games, but I do think that they have a really good chance to get up to 14 wins. So the Bengals have won their division for consecutive seasons since they haven't won their division since consecutive seasons since 1981 and 1982. They are looking to get back to the Super Bowl after a tough loss to the Chiefs in the last season's AFC Championship game, which was such a great game if you haven't watched it. Their goal for 2023 is to get off to a better start as they opened 2022 with a 0-2 loss and won 12 of their final 14 games. They can be better on offense after signing left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. They lost both starting safeties Jesse Bates, who signed with the Falcons, and Von Bell, who signed with the Panthers. Their defense only allowed 7 touchdowns on passes of 10-plus air yards last season, as second fewest in the NFL. So, like I said, the defense is phenomenal too. They do have one of the best rosters in the league, and I am, like I said, possibly predicting up the most of 14 wins, but I think they will get 11, and they are going to possibly get them their straight AFC title for this league. However, I do think that the Ravens are going to give them a run for their money. Do we think that Lamar Jackson has a chance to dethrone Joe Burrow? Because that's the question here, and I'm not sure. So, the Ravens, first game of the season, they're hosting the Texans. I think they're going to win this divisional game at home against the Texans. But the next week, they are going to the Bengals, and I think they will lose this game against the Bengals. For the third week, they are playing the Colts at home, and I think they will win this game at home. Then you have the Ravens are going to the Browns. I think they're going to lose. I think this is one of the divisional ways that where it's going to go 1-1. I think they do have a chance to lose against the Browns. Then you have the Ravens going to the Steelers. I think that they are going to lose there as well. I think the Steelers, another divisional team, going to give them a run for the money, and they're going to lose this one. Then you have the Ravens going to the Titans. I don't see the Titans, I'm sorry, doing that great this year. I think they're going to win. The Ravens will win at the Titans. This is also a team where I think that Lamar Jackson is then hosting the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff, and I think that they do have a chance to win here. I think this game could go either way, but I do think they will be able to pull off a win against Jared Goff. Then you have them going to the Cardinals. I think they're going to win this game as well. Like I said, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be that great this year at all. I don't really give the Cardinals that many wins for the season. Unfortunately, like I said, I think the Cardinals have a better chance at the next year or the year after to start doing better, but not this year. Then you have the Ravens hosting the Seahawks. I think they do have a chance to, beat out Mr. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll here at home versus the Seahawks. I mean, if it was going to the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks would win that. But since they are hosting the game, I think they have a good chance to win. Then the Ravens are hosting the Browns, divisional. I think they're going to win this one against the Browns. And then they're hosting the Bengals. I think this is where the Bengals are going to kick their butt both times, and they are going to lose against the Bengals at home. Then you have the Ravens are going to the Chargers. I think they're going to win. I do think the Chargers are going to have a good amount of wins this year, but I do think that they are going to obviously lose this game to the Ravens with Lamar if he's being on his great pace. Then they have a bye. Then they are hosting the Rams. I think that they are going to win against them hosting the Rams. I think that, like we said, Lamar is great. And we've all seen Lamar have talent. Unfortunately, I think this running a lot is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because they can obviously get you injured more. So I think they'll win against the Rams at home. And then you have the Ravens are going to the Jaguars in the next week of the season. I think they're going to lose. I think this is one where Trevor Lawrence is being able to pull off a win. Maybe not expected, but I think the game will be close, and I think that they're going to be able to pull off a win here. Then you have the Ravens going to the 49ers. I think that the 49ers, like I said, are going to be very good this year. I think that the Ravens are going to lose against the 49ers here. And then you have them hosting the Dolphins. I think that the Dolphins are going to be one of the best teams in their division. I think some of these divisions this year are going to be so interesting. Some are going to be like, while others are going to be phenomenal, and you're going to be like, who's coming in first and second and third within the division? You know, one division might get 2 wild card spots. So I think the Dolphins will win here against the Ravens at the Ravens home. And then the last game of the season is the Ravens are hosting the Steelers, and I think they will win this game. So Baltimore was 8-4 before Jackson's injury, but they did sputter without him. So like I said, if he's good, he's good. They averaged 23.8 points per game with Lamar, but only 13.7 after his injury, including the playoffs. They hired Todd Monken as a new offensive coordinator who led Georgia to back-to-back championships. You do have Eric DeCosta signed Odell Beckham, so that is super going to help them. I have a faith in Odell Beckham. I thought he was a great player when he played for the Giants, so we'll see what happened. Junior. And they did draft Zay Flowers in the first round, which some people were quite shocked by. So that leads to them, for me, having them at 10 wins. I think they're going to be able to secure the wild card spot and make the playoffs for the 5th time in the last 6 years. So that is it. I hope you guys subscribe, comment, like, everything like that. Please, I love to hear from all you guys. It makes me very happy to have conversations with you about the team. I do have then the Bengals are going to win this league. I for sure feel like it's going to happen. I think that even the Ravens then or the Steelers are going to be able to get that wild card spot. So stay tuned to next time. I love you all, guys. Ta-ta for now.